I am the guy who picks Cedricus Dumas to defeat Dante Johnson. See, one guy sucks, but the other guy might suck. So I'm going to waste my hard earned money on that word, might, because I'm a fucking idiot. And that's what we do here at MMA Al Dente. I am here to recap UFC Fight Night 260 fuck Garcia versus Onama. Garcia looked incredible here. He was just too much for Onama, walking him down. I thought he was in control throughout the whole fight. 3 minutes and 30 seconds. But still, before the big moment happened, a minute out from the finish, Steve Garcia was in control. I thought he was definitely going to win this fight just from watching him walking Onama down and stalking him. Onama, I thought, could have been faster, and he was able to put together one or two strikes, but he definitely seemed like he was a half step behind and a little more flustered. Garcia looked very measured, even when he had Onama hurt. And certainly with him being the one hurting Onama, he also looked more dangerous. And you could say what you want about the finish, but I think it was an eventuality. But yeah, Onama is tough as fuck. That fight with Nate Landwehr, he was finished like 6 times, but he still made it the distance somehow. So, yeah, I definitely think he's tough, but Steve Garcia is dangerous in a way that Nate Landwehr is not, and that maybe not anybody else is either, because Garcia, he's a killer. The only guy to survive him recently is Calvin Kattar, who's got to be one of the toughest men on earth. But Garcia, he's probably going to finish most of the guys he beats. And moving forward, again, he's going to be on the marquee for future UFC events. Maybe not David Onama. This could have been a pivotal loss for him. But Steve Garcia, he's got a name. It's only growing. This may not have been the highest profile UFC main event victory, but it still was a main event victory. He was the guy with the spotlight on him all week. And his next fight is going to be huge. It's probably not going to be Max Holloway, but it could be at the on the main card of a pay-per-view, or again headlining a fight night event, which would be 5 rounds that probably are not needed. But yeah, Steve Garcia is awesome, and for David Onama, he's only had tough losses before this, 2 tough losses by decision. And again, that Landwehr fight, he might have died twice in there, but he survived. And here, though, he just runs into that wall, that next level. And Steve Garcia was too much for him. So tough loss for Onama. He's going to need the rebound, even if he wasn't knocked out cold. He's probably concussed and definitely roughed up. Main event of the evening: Waldo Cortez Acosta knocked out Ante Dalia. He's got the green. Ante Dalia's got the red, as you see here. And that's what the story is going to be moving forward. Right now, there's an asterisk next to this victory, next to this fight, and certainly next to this loss for Ante Dalia. But I have to lead by talking about Waldo Cortez Acosta, who 1 week after Tom Aspinall, I mean, you couldn't pick a fucking better moment to have this moment, a better time to have this moment than 1 week after the next event after the Aspinall fight. And Waldo Cortez Acosta, who was definitely fucked up there, stepped back in and within 30 seconds or 10 seconds, whatever, very quickly knocked out Ante Dalia. This was incredible. This was an awesome moment for him. He's been a contender, I guess you can call him that. Maybe not a title contender, but 1 or 2 fights away from being that. And here, this was a pivotal moment for him. I mean, I thought he lost, and even without him having officially lost, once I was aware uh, that he was poked in the eye, and I knew he was stepping back in, I still thought he was up against it because he was kind of getting his ass kicked. And speaking of which, let me give Ante Dalia a little slack here because he's been eating a lot of shit after last week when his teammate Tom Aspinall had to pull out of that fight. Ante Dalia said something like, I've had 30-something fights and I've never eye poked anybody, and I don't know how the fuck it happens. We need stricter penalties and whatever. And that quote was shoved down his throat since the fight ended last night. And I have to give him a little bit of slack here by saying it was offense. He wasn't doing any of this. It wasn't any of that little bitch, as my favorite fighter, Jim Miller, described it last week. This was pure offense. He was swinging. He was a little out of control with his left hand, and he did stab Waldo Cortez Acosta in the eye. But I give him slack there because he wasn't doing it defensively. It's like somebody said, I forget who it was, but somebody said you should be able to grab the fence if you're doing something offensive. But if you're defending a takedown by grabbing the fence, that should not be allowed. And that's probably pretty stupid, but I don't know. The sentiment hits home with me. There's forgiveness for Ante Dalia there. But yeah, Waldo Cortez Acosta gets the victory. Ante Dalia, his chin failed him. He was really up against it here, having celebrated the victory already and having to go back in there and fight this guy. But his chin failed him. And even if this loss was overturned, he's still 30 whatever years old and his chin has failed him again. So this sucks no matter what. But I do think it is going to remain a win for Waldo, even if it's appealed. These things are rarely overturned, although they are. And here, he's definitely got a case. But regardless, yeah, this was a really shitty night for Ante Dalia. Really shitty. But yeah, for Waldo Cortez Acosta, he's been an exciting heavyweight. He's been, well, maybe not the best finisher altogether, but he's definitely been one of the better heavyweights. And this was a crucial win. Ante Dalia isn't the most established guy within the UFC, but I do think with this victory, he was going to be a contender. Ante Dalia, he's already had an incredible career before coming to the UFC. And now with a win over Marcin Tybura and Waldo Cortez Acosta, plus a bit of a high-profile situation being so close to Tom Aspinall, I think Ante Dalia would have really done big things after this. But now he's got to take time to recover, and it's going to be a big step back. But yeah, that was a fucking wild one. I thought Jeremiah Wells looked really good in this fight after round one. But that tough round one is what made it look really good. Temba Gorimbo was all over him. Temba Gorimbo has the bigger frame, and he took down Jeremiah and controlled him for about 6 minutes in the first round. It was total control. But Jeremiah Wells won this fight without clipping Temba Gorimbo. I thought he would clip him. I thought he would knock him out, but if not, club and sub him, as Temba's been caught. But instead, Jeremiah Wells simply out-hustled Temba Gorimbo and in the end out-wrestled him. His guillotine, which I know he was preparing as his big weapon in this matchup, it wasn't enough. It was there for him in moments, but he never really secured guard. Not to, once he did kind of and got a nice guillotine attempt. But in general, Temba Gorimbo was going to win that battle, taking him down and controlling him. But Jeremiah Wells, at 38 years old, I think had a little more in the tank. And he was able to push hard, I think steal round two in the end, getting on top of Temba and getting on top of him in round three and also mounting him. I think each guy mounted the other in this fight, with Jeremiah getting mounted early in round one. But this was a great victory for Jeremiah Wells. He fought a grinder and he outgrinded him, or he outground him. I don't know. But at 38 years old, again, being the guy with a 2-year layoff or whatever, I was really impressed with this performance. He didn't do it with big moments, not one big moment. He landed a nice combination at one point, but this was just a hustle, and he won the hustle. So great win for Jeremiah Wells. And for Temba Gorimbo, it's good to see him lose without getting concussed. And I don't think he was. But yeah, this was a winnable fight for him based on round one. And he just didn't have as much in the tank. It was close, really close, but I thought Jeremiah definitely won. And now we get the Yadir Del Valle versus Isaac Dulgarian. All right. This is Monday morning. Isaac Dulgarian's been cut from the UFC already. My suspicions are up with this. It was brought to my attention online on Twitter that the line had moved drastically, although I had already secured my bets on Del Valle and Del Valle by submission. But Isaac Dulgarian losing in round one, or Del Valle winning in round one, I think was slammed by some big bets, and his money line changed drastically within, I think, an hour, or if not a few hours or whatever. But, it's an anomaly that we haven't seen since Derek Minner fought Shailon Nurbandeke, and before that, the guy Bang versus Kuntz, or whatever. Kuntz. I think you want to be a dick about it. But Isaac Dulgarian, it wasn't as obvious as Derek Minner. With Derek Minner in the fight itself, I feel like that was just a much more obvious fluke. Where just right away he's limping, and it's like, oh, this injury, 30 seconds into the fight too, of all the times, right? And it was like, all right, this is bullshit. But Isaac Dulgarian, he looked like he was trying to be Isaac Dulgarian. He was as what's the opposite of dominant? Weak as he's ever looked. He's always looked dominant, even in his loss. He looked fucking dominant. This is the first time he hasn't looked dominant, but that's not really anything. I mean, he doesn't have the deepest resume. Every now and then you're going to run into that next level, and you're not going to look so dominant. But after that, I thought he did a great job defending. Maybe not a great job. He was getting the shit kicked out of him, but he was trying hard not to get finished, it looked like. He was flattened out on multiple occasions. You could see the heavy hips on Yadier Del Valle pinning him as he was pounding the shit out of him. And Isaac kept getting up, which might just be an instinct to get up from that position as you're getting your fucking head pounded. But he did that on a few occasions instead of shelling up. And then he fought the choke, kind of. It didn't look like the smoothest choke, but he was fighting it for, it seemed like 90 seconds. And believe me, I know, because I was fucking hanging on it. And eventually he tapped out. The fight looked better than the Derek Minner fight. Having said that, what makes it look altogether worse than the Derek Minner fight is that the Derek Minner fight already happened. And that was a conspiracy with James Krause. He's pretty much the guy behind it. And Isaac Dulgarian, I don't want to say he came up under James Krause. I don't know, but that's what I think. He came up under James Krause. I've seen pictures of them years ago when Isaac was younger, and they look tight enough. And Isaac is also on record, I think this week, or maybe it's an old clip, but I think it's this week, saying something about how fighters should be paid a percentage of betting winnings and gambling winnings and shit like that. That's nothing, but it certainly adds to the picture. And altogether, yeah, especially with James Krause, it's just a very ugly picture, and I'm very suspicious of Isaac Dulgarian. So is the UFC. That's why he's been cut as of this morning. He's cut from the UFC. I would feel really badly for him if he was totally innocent here. Really badly. Being labeled a scumbag, being investigated, which is going to happen, getting his ass kicked and getting submitted, finished for the first time, and all the rest of it. But I'm leaning towards he's in on it, and there was some horse shit here. That's just how I feel about it. And believe me, I desperately want to shout to the heavens that I called it. Yadier Del Valle by submission. I fucking called it. And you know what? I still call it anyway. He would have won anyway. But here I do think there was some foul play. And I don't know. It's just speculation at this point. But yeah, he's been cut and his life's going to be turned upside down. Fuck. I missed a chance to say the word upended. Charlie Radke, speaking of submissions, got a beautiful submission win over Daniel Frunza. This was a really hard-earned victory. Radke, plan A was to take him down and submit him or beat him on the ground. He landed a nice combination a minute into the fight or whatever, and then immediately shot a takedown after that. So I could tell it was plan A. And on the ground, he was too much for Frunze. I'm really impressed that Frunze didn't get submitted in round one, which really would have helped me, even though I still hit Charlie Radke by submission. But I missed the under 2.5 rounds, which I was sure I considered that a lock. And Charlie Radke had Daniel Frunze dead to rights in round one. But Frunze, when I thought he was reaching up his hand to tap, was reaching it up to say, no, I'm not tapping. And he fought on. And he was dominated in round one. In round two, he was dominated, not threatened with any submissions, but he got the shit kicked out of him. Charlie Radke was mean the whole way with ground and pound. And then in round three, he was a little too tired. It was a little too much. And Charlie Radke still had that submission prowess, which is really impressive. And he finally closed the show with 30 seconds left. So excellent win for Charlie Radke, a thorough beatdown, and a great reminder that he's got a good ground game. And for Daniel Frunze, even though he fought his ass off to defend and he looked tough and looked like he had polished things up a little bit, he still has lost for the third time here, and all three of which come by submission. So it's a thing moving forward still for Daniel Frunze if he is moving forward in the UFC. One submission attempt to close the show on Cody Durden, even though he was compromised because he got hit with a big shot. But this was a great win for Alan Nascimento because it wasn't easy. Cody Durden, even though he stepped up on short notice, he was leading the dance here. His boxing was really sharp, and I thought he was a half step ahead of Alan Nascimento, who was still working good calf kicks and, in the fight on the outside. But Alan Nascimento had a big advantage on the ground. It looked like wrestling wasn't an option for him. He didn't think he could go through the wrestling of Cody Durden, even though Alan's got decent takedowns. But he got it done on the feet. He's not really known for his striking prowess, certainly not for his danger, but he's definitely a better striker than his record would indicate. And he ended up clipping Cody. And again, with one small little window, he closed the show. Cody did fight the submission well, but not well enough. Alan Nascimento kept that grip really tight and just kept following him and stopped his movement and got him. Credit to Cody Durden. This, even though it's another club and sub loss, and he's definitely a vulnerable guy, he's still got an excellent skill set. He's capable of beating a lot of great fighters. And here, stepping up on short notice, took extra bowls, and he gave a great fight. But Alan Nascimento was too much for him, and he's got a lot of momentum now. Great win for Alan. Billy Elicana got a great win over Kevin Christian by technical submission, because that means he didn't tap, even though he was trying to for like 2 minutes. And Chris Tognoni missed it. But his arm was trapped. Billy Elicana hurt him and then pinned him and pinned his arm right away. Pinned him with his hooks and instantly got that choke. Billy Elicana looked really fucking dangerous here. And he said he was going to, I don't know if he said he was going to win on the ground, but he said, I'm better than him on the ground. I'm better than him on the feet. And yeah, he proved both things right there in 3 minutes and 33 seconds. This may not have been the biggest feather in his cap, but it's a great highlight, and it's a UFC highlight inside the octagon. So awesome moment for him. My impression of him is definitely growing. I think he's definitely got a lot of good skills, and he's going to be a force in the UFC. Timothy Kawamba beat Chang Ho Lee by decision. I thought Timothy Kawamba looked really good here. Really good. He was pinned early in round one, kind of like Jeremiah Wells, and then just wouldn't say no. He kept scrapping. He kept defending takedowns better and better as the fight went on, and his strikes kept meaning more as the fight went on. Chang Ho Lee looked a little more tired. He got beaten up, and Timothy Kawamba outlasted him. Dropped round one, won rounds 2 and 3. Great win for Kawamba. He's got a lot of grit. And he's a dangerous guy, even though he didn't get to close the show with the flying knee like I was predicting here. He attempted a few of them, but to no avail. But still a great win, really hard-earned win over a good fighter in Chang Ho Lee. And for Chang Ho Lee, he's slowed down here. He has slowed down in the past. And yeah, this was obviously a very winnable fight, just like same shit I was saying about Temba Gorimbo. But yeah, the guy slowed down and Timothy Kawamba outlasted him. Dante Johnson beat Cedricus Dumas by ninja choke. Good for him winning by ninja by submission at all. And it was a good win for Dante Johnson. This wasn't an easy fight. And he mixed it up, mixed in some takedowns, and closed the show with a nice submission. So good look in a lot of ways. And also doing that in round 2 is a good look. But Cedricus Dumas, and believe me, I know because he was fighting for my money here. He didn't fight so hard. That was weakness. He gave up. I don't like the guy anyway, so I'm always quick to shit on him. But if you saw the fight, I'm guessing you saw what I saw, and that was a guy that was giving up. I think that was where he was reaching up to tap, like 30 seconds before he tapped or whatever. I know he was tired. He looked sloppy. He looked like shit, spamming, spinning attacks, which is never a good look, and just a lot of shitty wasted energy. And after it looked like he was going to be composed and dragging Dante into deep waters early on, Cedricus Dumas got him down and was controlling him and looked pretty measured. But yeah, he just didn't have that in him for 15 minutes like he has in the past. Dante Johnson, I'm sure his strikes meant a little more than other guys Cedricus has beaten. But yeah, he was able to separate himself from Cody Brundage, who I think is not bad, and Abu Azaitar, and these other guys that Cedricus Dumas was able to go past. Dante Johnson gets a great victory, but Cedricus Dumas, who probably won't be around too much longer, he gave up here. He looked like shit. I believe DC called him out for it. And yeah, that's a guy that didn't fight for my money, let alone his money, all that he stood to gain. So pretty disappointing performance from him. And for Dante Johnson, this isn't the highlight he probably wanted, but again, on paper, it's a great fucking look. A round 2 submission victory over a more seasoned guy in his UFC debut. Norma Dumont beat Ketlin Vieira by split decision. I called it. Yeah. Right. This was a bad decision. I thought Ketlin Vieira won. Although I thought altogether, if you scored it under pride scoring, Norma Dumont was definitely taking it to her in round 3 and was only pinned early on. Although Ketlin took her back, flattened her out in round 1. She had some good moments. But Norma turned in, reclaimed half guard, and battled her way back to safety. I thought the best moments of the fight were in round 3, but I did think it was too little too late. Norma's hotter. She's got a better ass, better face. I'm backing her all the way. But this was a bad decision. And Ketlin, I thought, got screwed here. And it's a shame this wasn't the highest profile fight on the card, but as far as rankings go, I don't know what their fucking rankings are, but they're probably number 1 and number 2 for featherweights, and they're both up there for bantamweights. Is featherweight still a thing? But yeah, she definitely looked good in round 3, Norma. I thought she gave herself a shot by outlasting Ketlin, who has been outlasted before. But yeah, she didn't deserve this victory, Norma Dumont. And for Ketlin Vieira, I have to say, cardio is king, and cardio cost her here. Cardio cost her. I mean, it put her in the realm of losing a robbery. But it's the only thing that did that, and it came back to cost her again. Alice Ardeleon beat Montserrat Ruiz Canejo, whatever. Montserrat's tough as all fuck. Sure, she makes a decent atom weight, but here she's really up against it in the strawweight division. And Alice Ardeleon just beat her down. She didn't get the finish. I guess to beat someone down, you should probably get a finish. But she beat her up. Montserrat was bloodied up. half step behind in round one, and I feel like it only got worse after that. She did put together some combinations, which, she needs combinations and a lot of blitzes to make shit happen because she's giving up so many physical advantages to her opponent all the time. But she also needed toughness to even give herself a shot, and she showed that. Montserrat's had a really tough run in the UFC just because she's so small. And here I expected her to get finished, but I thought that would take place on the ground. On the feet, Alice was still a lot better than her, but it wasn't enough to get the finish. But great win for Alice Ardeleon. She's going to be hanging around for some time in the UFC. And yeah, she can definitely, she's a good test for anybody. A really good fighter, Alice Ardeleon. And Sekyung Ko beat Philip Rowe by decision. I had Philip Rowe winning this fight. I said he's going to knock him out. He's going to outlast him. He's got traits and round three and all that. Nah. Round three was about the same as round two and about the same as round one. He was taken down and pinned. He might have had better striking. He might have had better jiu-jitsu. I'm very confident he was the overall dangerous man, but he lacks in wrestling and athleticism. He's a tall, thin guy that can be pinned and controlled. He's got jiu-jitsu, yeah, but that's not going to stop him from being Kevin Holland underneath fucking Marvin Vettori. And Sekyung Ko, this is a big win for him. On paper, means more than the Oban Elliott win, but both wins are incredible. And he's looked thoroughly dominant. Like 15 minutes of dominance in both fights. Easy takedowns, especially against Philip Rowe. I mean, I could have fucking taken him down in this fight. But yeah, Sekyung Ko looked perfect here. Pitched another shutout and didn't get a finish, but my estimation of him is pretty fucking high. And Talita Alencar did get a finish, closing the show in round three in the final 30 seconds against Ariane Canellosi. This was a grueling fight. Ariane Canellosi, I thought, was doing well early on, and I thought in the end she was going to be the better woman. In round three, I thought Talita, who had slowed down in the past, was going to be overwhelmed even by Ariane Canellosi, who, again, is built like Chad Mendez. But Talita battled back. She hit a takedown when I thought she was tired. And after that, Ariane's fatigue hit the surface. And Talita ended up going back to dominance and securing a choke. Great win for Talita Alencar, especially for her to close a show like this in round three. If this happened in round one, it wouldn't be as impressive. Again, she's had tough round threes in the past. And here, yeah, she made good on her work that she's done over the last few years, patching up that cardio, and she closed the show on Ariane Canellosi. Really good victory for her. I don't think she got a bonus or anything, but it was a grinding victory that she didn't let go of the distance. Again, great effort in the final 30 seconds. So yeah, overall, this was a fun event with a lot of bullshit. I mean, there's bullshit every week, it seems like. But this one had some extra spicy bullshit. And yeah, I'm going to wait to hear about what happens with Isaac Dulgarian, James Krause, and whoever else. And I saw something about James Herzog, but I'm hoping that's bullshit. I don't know why I brought it up without verifying it, but that's what I do here. Like, share, subscribe, all that horse shit, and check out my other videos.